Hi, everybody, and welcome. We have already got 20 people, 30 people sitting there streaming in. Fabulous to have you here with us today. And I am very thrilled to be joined by many people from the solar industry. And let me jump in and put up the title slide. So, how sellers of quality solar can adapt to LG's exit is the topic for today. And thank you for muting yourself. Very excited to bring you a jam-packed presentation. So let's quickly have a look at what we are going through. We're going to hear from a bit of a welcome introduction. We're going to hear from somebody who has already had to change tactic from LG in the past about how to reinvent yourself. I'm going to lead you through what LG did well and what they could have done better. All of these are going to be trying to help you with answer the question of how should I sell quality solar, which brand should I switch to, all those considerations, and how the dynamic is going to change. Dean Mannix, our sales guru, is going to lead us through how to adapt your quality sales messages. And then we're going to hear a very brief and very strictly monitored 5-minute presentation from 3 of the panelists. Nigel's going to give us some of his 2 cents worth, and then there's going to be some Q&A. So your opportunity to engage with the Q&A. It's also your opportunity to engage with chat. I want you people to put in the chat. There's 82 of you out there. I'd like to hear where each of you are from and whether you are flooded right now, because I'd like to say that our thoughts do go out to those that are flooded. There, including Nick Lake of Nickel Energy and Lismore, a friend of mine. One thing that did come out of this was a very innovative use of a solar panel being used to shelter dogs and children. They tied a tent to the back of the solar panel as they're standing up there on the roof waiting to be rescued. So some impressive things there. Hopefully people are doing okay, both directly affected and the solar businesses. It's the last thing we needed, right? Okay, on to matters. LG. A message from LG. I invited Gus to give us a little message. It's there up on your screen. It's worth noting, even as we're presenting alternatives for you to switch to, that LG does, is still helping its partners sell its existing stock, does have more stock on hand available for future sales, and also, of course, in honouring warranty. It's also, of course, worth noting here that this isn't just an Australia phenomenon of LG exiting. This is global. And many people have made the point that we've had big major brands out there exit the solar market, solar manufacturing before, and not necessarily because there's not money to be made from it, but it's just a harder game. And if you are selling profitably consumer electronics and you're trying to deal with wafer thin margins and always eroding prices and all that sort of stuff, I can understand why you might not have the guts unless you're all in. Remembering, of course, that ultimately we are selling a commodity. We're selling electrons. There are different color electrons, and we're selling them with a commodity, which is these rectangular black things that people put on roofs called solar panels. So there's always going to be price competition there when there's a commodity. But there's a bigger market for quality than you may think. I did some numbers just yesterday, and it was actually about 1/3 of the panels that are going in represented by people in this who are on your screen right now, when you include LG as well. And it's a growing amount as well. I'll show you some more about that in a moment. But first, I'm going to hand across to Lliam Rickets from Supply Partners, who's going to talk to us about reinventing yourself. He's not from the Sunshine Coast Credit Union. It's just an image I stole off the web. But Lliam, over to you.
Thank you, Warwick. I'll just share my presentation there. Thank you, mate. Okay, excellent. So look, I'm Lliam Rickets, one of the founding directors of Supply Partners. We're a national wholesaler. And I wanted to share 4 lessons we learnt when we were becoming a technical and premium distributor. And some of this story is going to relate really through to you as LG dealers. So the LG history, only the originals know this story. So I want to share a little bit about this for people out there that don't know the story. So Supply Partners were the exclusive distributor for LG Electronics between 2011 and 2013. Supply Partners Sales Director John Degatati, one of my business partners who's the founder of the business, and Marcus Lambert, who was the ex-managing director there at LG, actually undertook the marketing, promotion and development of what became the LG dealer network. So Supply Partners built the LG business under an exclusive agreement, and they had $200,000 worth of sales in this country before we engaged with them. And then in 1 year, we did $12 million of US dollar sales through 2012 for LG here in Australia. So we actually introduced the first dealers in the country, and some of you dealers out there will know us very well from those earlier days. But without cause, our exclusive distribution was concluded in January 2013, and LG started selling direct to the dealer network. We only sold one panel at that point in time. Literally, we were a one-panel company, and that was LG modules. So how did this affect our business Supply Partners? Well, at the time, it was devastating for our business. It affected how we trust partners, and it was just plain hurt our business. We literally had one panel. And today we wanted to share the 4 big lessons that we learned from this experience to becoming a technical and premium distributor here in Australia. Lesson 1 is trusting your values and mission. So we wanted to just make sure we continued following our values and our mission as a business. And these are some points here that would relate to you as a retail business, promoting those values that are true to your business, maintaining those great in-store qualities out there, continuing your commitment to premium products, and promoting your personal company brand. Lesson 2 is playing in the budget product space is a revenue play. We're not really seeing companies be sustainable and successful operating in the budget space over the long term. Operating in a premium area of the market gives your business better quality of earnings and a better chance of financial success. And your history with LG has shown that you're interested in operating a sustainable business model. So don't lose that vision for your company. Lesson 3 is maintain the LG values by setting your own criteria to purchase a new product. Now, Supply Partners did not want to step away from our values, as I mentioned, and we cared about promoting LG. So we never wanted LG to terminate our exclusive or leave the market. So therefore, to move forward, we created a criteria to select our solar modules. Our criteria is called blue chip solar panel criteria. And some of our great clients out there use this every day to sell products. So we actually own the IP of Blue Chip Solar. If you go to bluechipsolar.com.au, we actually own that website. And it's literally a purchasing criteria for people out there to go, okay, well, so many panels to choose from. This is the criteria we used when we selected another panel after moving on from having that exclusive with LG. We wanted a manufacturer that had been in business for over 30 years. We wanted a manufacturer that had been around for longer than the period of its warranty it was offering. We chose businesses that had $30 billion worth of turnover or larger, manufacturers that did a diverse range of products that were not just a pure play panel manufacturer. So at that time, we'd done Hyundai, we'd done LG, both large diversified manufacturers. And we wanted to continue that direction and capable of completing warranty service here in Australia. So that's a criteria. We went on and chose products based on that criteria. And we invite you to look at Blue Chip Solar and have a look at that yourself.
1 minute left, Lliam.
1 minute. I didn't put my timer on, so I was wondering what I was up to, mate. So diversification and making your own decisions. We recommend you listen to all premium panel manufacturers for your future product considerations. So you're going to hear from a couple of great manufacturers in this presentation today. Take the 2 hours it takes to understand, what is their value proposition, what's their go-to-market strategy, how are they investing in your business, and make sure that you do your due diligence. So the blue chip solar panels we distribute, these are the 2 panels at the moment that meet that blue chip criteria. And Sumic Phono Solar was that panel that we chose back in 2013 when we lost the exclusive on LG. So we love distributing that product. We've got the exclusive on it and we manage its value. If people don't know how to sell on value, I know Dean Mannix is up a little bit later. We actually have a course that Dean helped us curate that we deliver as salespeople, and we come into solar businesses and teach people how to sell on value over price. So blue chip solar panels, they're the 2 we sell, and we invite you to reach out to our team to have a chat to us about that. So I hope I tried to carve that into the 5 minutes pretty sharp there, Warwick. Thanks for pulling together today, mate, and I hope everyone out there that's affected by the floods as well are doing okay. Well, thank you, Warwick.
Thanks for that, Lliam. So yes, look, this is, Lliam said 2 hours, and it's important. You need to spend some time. We're giving people literally a 5-minute window to help you decide all in one place. You'll have the opportunity to engage with them after as well. But hey, ask your questions, get on the chat line, but especially the Q&A where people can go into that in more detail and answer you verbally. We're now looking through what LG did well and what that can teach us about what to do next. So let me just make sure I am there. Actually, is everyone still seeing my screen, or we stop that?
No, we can see the screen.
Great, excellent. So let us have a look at what LG did well. So we, together with EUPD Research, survey over 200 retailers and installers each year to get a sense of their thoughts on the market and thoughts on particular brands in particular. This is, first chart is unaided brand awareness. It is, what brand do you think of first when you think of solar panels, and what brand do you think of second, etc., and adding all those up. And LG actually did very well in this. They were the 3rd ranked brand awareness, presumably helped by their major brand name. You'll see most of the others are muted out there. There were a couple that were higher than. The ones that are muted out in red throughout these slides I'm going to present are actually some of the high quality brands that are represented here today. And so you can see in terms of those leading brands that they have there were others, but they were far below them in terms of brand awareness. So, hey, you guys on the call today, if you're going to work on anything, you guys were well behind LG on that sense. So what can you do to do that? And it's worth noting, of course, LG were they really supported their detailers. They communicated that quality message and helped them sell it, and that they were also enabled on the Open Solar platform with some particular customizations for them. The next one here is the degree of retailer exclusiveness. So to what extent are retailers just using that product? And that's another indicator of how much they love it. And what we saw is for LG here, half of the installers that are using that product were just using it as a space filler, just here and there, a small percentage of their actual installations, and none of the respondents were using it exclusively. Clearly, this is a sample. It's not everybody out there in the market, but it's borne out by other data that SunWiz collects as well that identifies LG, that their strength wasn't being able to capture everybody. And I note on the call, at least, Winaico does very, very well at capturing the large share of the wallet of the installers that it does. It's not a huge volume player, but at least it has that going for it, and that's an indication of loyalty or people really embracing it. There's other metrics which don't bode so well for Winaico, but anyway, having a look over here, you can see that there were some of these brands here today that did have some decent degree of people using their brands exclusively. And this particular brand here, where over 40% of the installers that use it were using it exclusively or for more than 50% of their installations. So again, LG was middle of the road there. Net Promoter Score, how much were these brands loved? And you can see there that LG has got a reasonable score. There's certainly scores below 50 that aren't shown here, but actually all of these top 5 players were quality players. And so the brand LG actually had some of the brands here, LG was loved less than some of the brands here represented today. And the next slide, which I'll show you here, is when you go and ask the people who are using LG how satisfied they are with each of these purchasing criteria, from output, quality, manufacturing quality, low price, guarantee conditions, etc., where they line up to their expectations, and you go and compare that with everybody else. It's very, very interesting to see that LG did reasonably there, but it wasn't outstanding. It wasn't their secret to their success. Let me tell you a little bit there. The top rank in terms of Net Promoter Score was REC. REC also scored the top rank in terms of output. So this is satisfaction from the respondents in terms of output, top in terms of quality, guarantee conditions, local customer service, claims management, reliability of delivery information, and also the criteria of being taken out to lunch by Paul regularly, which I think was probably why they had such a good Net Promoter Score, right, Paul? But in terms of short delivery periods, the top ranked there with Sunpower and Hyundai. In terms of relative size, it wasn't like LG was this massive, the only quality player, and then there was minnows underneath them. Actually, when we plot each of these circles as the relative market share of each of those quality players, you can see that LG, yes, was the largest, but there were some close competitors there. And again, shown here, I'm not going to say and reveal all those ranks, but the people on the call. This is the share of wallet chart, and they'll probably have to explain it a bit. So what percentage, so what volume got put through, and what percentage of the typical retailer's wallet or panels they install were captured. And you can see here, LG certainly did it the most volume out of any of these other quality players. But in terms of capturing share of wallet, it was actually pretty low. So again, this goes to, hey, this isn't dominating this, the installers that took it up, wasn't dominating what they used. Out here, as I said, Winaico has got, this one is showing 60%. So all the people who are using Winaico, they're doing over 60% average for typical business of their volume is using that product. But again, much smaller. And some of the questions I want to see you posting in the chat, in the Q&A, is questions like, product availability. It's clearly, well, not clearly, question mark, if everybody moved from LG to Sunpower, would there be enough stock, or vice versa? Could be anyone on the call. Q sells REC. These are the kind of questions you want to ask, and particularly because some of them have very strong exclusive kind of considerations of how many dealers they'll have in one place. All right, Dean Mannix. For a long time, Dean Mannix has been teaching salespeople how to sell quality solar. He's here to give a 5-minute refresher. Dean, in particular, how does the quality solar message change now that LG is out of the picture? You're on mute, mate, so let's get you off mute.
So the quality message does not change, all right? But here's a couple of things. First, the bad news. The simple reality is what made you successful selling LG quality is not what's going to make you successful selling a lesser known brand quality. You've really got to get that through your head. The bottom line is the stats show that around about 50% of consumers, it's just over 50%, prefer to buy a brand that they know. Now let's get something really clear. Just because you know a brand in the solar space does not mean the average human being does, and in fact they don't. Other than LG and Hyundai, I would suggest there is not a single brand in the solar industry that your average consumer knows. 70% of consumers, in fact it's 71%, I believe, actually attribute a higher level of quality, a higher level of reliability, and a higher level of dependability to a known brand. So selling LG, you're getting a lot of free kicks as a result of the brand that you're not going to get with a less known brand. So get that through your head. If you don't change the way that you're selling quality when you're selling a different brand, you're going to have a lot of hiccups and a lot of pain. Interesting news, selling quality has not changed. 3 things. Customer has to understand what's the difference between that panel and another panel, especially a cheap panel. Number 2, why should I care about that difference? And number 3, why should I pay for that difference? How do I justify that? Now, here's the really good news for all of you that have been selling LG. You're people and you're already good at number 2 and 3. I know if you've been selling LG that you're good at explaining why people should care about a higher quality panel / longer warranty and how they justify it. What they're not going to find easy is selling the difference between whichever panel you choose and other panels on the market, because they don't get the free kick from the brand. All right, what does a brand give us? Now, this is really important that you understand this if you're going to start selling any other type of panel. What the brand of LG gave you was emotional confidence in the decision. Not technical confidence, emotional confidence. Because the story people tell themselves about that panel when they mention the name LG gives them an emotional sense of confidence. So what you've got to ask yourself is, no matter which panel you choose to start selling in the quality space, how are we going to train our people, and how am I going to create emotional confidence in another human being around the panel I've selected? Really important. How do you create emotional confidence? Well, there's a bunch of ways, but here's the biggest and most important thing. If you try to sell everything, you will sell nothing. You will confuse yourself. You will confuse the other person, and you will fail and flail in selling quality. So you've got to figure out what part of the story or what type of story you're going to tell to create emotional confidence. Let me give you an example. We went over to their manufacturing plant, spoke to the founder, and actually checked out the process ourselves. So we've walked their factory, we understand and know it, and that's why we chose these guys over the other 3 or 4 quality panel providers in the market. If your people can tell that story, that creates emotional confidence, or a lot more emotional confidence. These are the ones we have on our house. All right, we actually replaced the ones that we have with these ones on our house because we believe in the quality, and we wanted to make sure that we were putting our money where our mouth was. That creates emotional quality. Going to be hard to rip the LG panels off your house and put new ones on for most of you, I'd imagine. All right, look, they're the biggest in the world. Now, that only works if they are the biggest in the world, which means it's only one panel provider. You can run with they're the biggest in Australia, which might be a different panel provider, but I don't know that that's actually going to tick the box in relation to the panels you should be deciding to replace LG with. All right, so the bottom line is that you've got to give your people stories. I'll give you an example of a story, right? So I've been working...
1 minute, Dean.
Yep, working with LG batteries to sell the LG battery more effectively. Now, I know many of you will be fans of other batteries, but one of the factoids that they share is, look, LG actually makes the batteries that go into the spacesuit for the NASA astronauts. So they didn't choose Tesla for that, they chose LG because they know their battery making capability is so good. So my question to you, whatever panel you choose, and when you're talking to your panel providers or your replacement panel providers, go looking for the emotional story. And if you can't find it, trust me, you're going to find it really hard to sell them. Good luck.
Thanks so much for that, Dean. Really appreciate that. That was just a real powerful, succinct share. I'd like to note that Dean is actually going to be running through a session of how to sell each of these key brands, quality brands, in SunWiz's next Sales Guru session that's happening next month. Dean's got an incredible library of 24/7 content that's available through SunWiz at a per project price if you're on OpenSolar, and then we've got an exclusive benefit there of a Q&A session there with Dean each month, and that is incredible value. I'm pleased to see you running through that, Dean, with us next week. If you're interested and would like to know more about how to access that content, that Q&A at a very low per project price on OpenSolar, then I'd like you to pop the word irresistible into the chat of the poll that's live right now. Sorry, in the chat. And also note that we've done some excellent partnership with Dean on how to implement everything he talks about into a proposal that actually leads them on a journey. Thanks so much, Dean. I think you might need to pop off the call, but
Thanks very much.
if anyone's got any questions on that, I can take you through too. All right, so we are now going into our Q&A session. Thank you. Chris, if you would like to queue up your presentation, I would love to see that.
Okay, can you see that screen?
We are all good.
We're all good. Okay, great. So hello, everyone. It's great to talk to you. So let me start on the right-hand side of this slide first. We have 2 large strategic investors that we work very closely with. So this is in response to, firstly, who are Maxion, who are Sunpower. Total Energies is no doubt known to many of you. Total are a major French energy company. Not only are they an investor in Maxion, but they're also a very large customer. Total are active in project development in large-scale utilities and also in the commercial rooftop business around the world. The other strategic investor is Zhonghuan Semiconductor, TZS for short. They are the 2nd largest global solar wafer manufacturer. Their innovation in wafer manufacturing sees them now expanding capacity of the G12, the 2 10mm wafers, and it's no accident that our new P6 series performance products are based on the G12 cell. So the remainder and the majority of our shares are publicly available on the NASDAQ in the US. And this equity split really does give us a good global balance, having equity from Europe, Asia, and the US. Now on the left-hand side, this image carries more weight in the wake of the recent announcement from LG exiting the industry. It's not good to see a company like LG that challenged the industry to focus on quality decide to exit. We'll miss LG in the market. Having LG installers and homeowners focus on quality reinforced our message, SunPower's message, that technology really does matter, and building solar that will last is really important. So here's our manufacturing footprint. It all starts with R&D. We have 2 sites, one in Silicon Valley in California and the other in Singapore. We produce our IBC, the Maxion IBC cells in Malaysia and the Philippines, and we put them into solar panels in France and Mexico. We produce mono-PERC cells in Malaysia, take those cells to Mexico, put them into P-series panels for the US power plant market. And in China, we produce P-series in a joint venture that we have with TZS. You will have heard us also announce late last year that we're looking at establishing a cell fab and a module facility in mainland US. We really are a global module manufacturer. So Maxion produces a portfolio of products that are based on 2 technology platforms. Our back contact product is called Maxion technology, and our shingled mono-PERC product is called Performance or P-series. The commonality in the 2 platforms comes from engineering out or removing common failure modes and increasing reliability while maximizing energy yield through innovative cell architecture. And I have no doubt that most of you heard that we've extended the warranty of our modules on, well, the back contact modules. This announcement was made at the start of last month and is applicable for installations done from the 1st of January this year. Some of you that have been in the industry for a while will remember that we moved our product and power warranty to 25 years a number of years back. This was done carefully and based on science and field data. This same rigor has gone into the announcement on the 40-year warranty. Many of you will have seen a white paper that we published, I think probably 5 or 6 years ago now, relating to back contact technology and its 40-year design life. With Maxion IBC being the technology that SunPower was founded on in 1985, and with our company approaching 40 years in the business, now's a great time to demonstrate further confidence in our technology. This warranty is
1 minute, Chris.
Not only proof of our confidence in Maxion panels as the industry's most comprehensive and longest warranty, but actually represents more energy and more value. So here's the product portfolio currently available in Australia. We have AC modules in both back contact and P-series for residential, plus the DC versions of the same modules. In commercial, we manufacture large format modules at around 21% efficiency, and we've got warehouses around the country in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth. I think I've got them all. And now, why SunPower? We have the product portfolio to hit multiple end customer price points. Your sales process can be based on a consistent message of quality and differentiation, whilst you move up and down within that product range. SunPower products are truly differentiated on technology. Couple this with the most comprehensive warranties that don't have carve-outs to create loopholes for manufacturers. And our ESG credentials are second to none. And last one, you want stories. Here's SunPower cells on a rocket, SunPower cells on a production car coming out of Europe, that's Lliam 1, and on yachts going around the world. So there you go.
Thank you so much, Chris. And there is a question there for you in the chat that you may wish to answer in the chat or live. And worth noting, if we are talking about ripping panels off roof, then we'd have to be ripping some SunPower panels off my roof at the very least. Okay, next we're going to hear from Q-Cells. Grant, would you care to bring your presentation up? And you can unmute yourself as well.
Okay, so which...
We can see a desktop right now.
You can see the desktop. Okay, I'll flick this down to the... So you can see the presentation now?
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll get straight into...
I've got your presenter view on the
okay, yep.
Display settings in the top left, drop down arrow.
Yep.
And swap.
Yep.
The top one, swap presenter view. And
okay, so we'll go straight into that. Okay.
Right. Thanks.
Yep. So hitting that. So looking at some facts and figures and why Q-Cells. So Q-Cells is one of the older manufacturers in the industry. Started in '99. in Talheim, and continues to have over 500 employees within Talheim within our key R&D facility there, which is one of 4 R&D facilities around the globe with close to 1,400 employees within R&D and quality control. Manufacturing capacity, one of the larger manufacturers, and it's our view that for long-term viability, manufacturers really need to be at or above that 10 gigawatts of capacity for economies of scale and pricing on materials. We've still got some excess capacity within our manufacturing, producing over just under 9.5 gigawatts of capacity last year, and have committed last September to another 1.3 billion US investment over the next 3 to 5 years to increase our capacity by another 3 gigawatts, including our N-type technology cell, which will be out in TopCon later this year, and looking at the perovskite tandem junction module available next year. As a company on the right-hand side, Qcells is a profitable business, 3.27 billion US turnover last year with that's 2020, with $198 million US in profit. Qcells as a company is a business unit of the publicly listed Hanwha Solutions, which includes Hanwha Chem and Hanwha Advanced Materials. So giving more bankability from an $8 billion US plus revenue stream across 3 organisations, or three business units within that organisation. Hanwha Solutions is part of the Hanwha Group, which gives us a $55.6 billion US group of companies with over 80 affiliates worldwide to be able to give us that strength and backing from that Korean conglomerate, which is a Fortune 500 company. In Australia, Qcells has the oldest operating office for an international manufacturer in Australia, and has been open since 2009, and we are experiencing strong growth at the moment. So in the last 6 months, we've expanded from 20 staff in Australia to over 35 staff, with more being employed at the moment. So by the end of March, we'll have in excess of 40 staff across sales, marketing, engineering for panels and inverters, plus our new distributed energy services team for our retail and VPP solution. Global network, we've got a diverse global network across the globe. So we've got Qcells is separated into 2 head offices. So we've got our corporate head office in Seoul, in Korea, and our technology and R&D centre in Talheim in Germany, with 500 staff working there on the R&D, etc. 4 manufacturing sites, 4.5 gig in Korea, 2.5 gig in Malaysia in Cyberjaya, 2.5 gig in Qidong in China, and also Atlanta, Georgia in the US for 1.7 gigawatts. So we only manufacture panels in our fully owned and operated facilities worldwide, which are fully vertically integrated, and we've got over 60 sales offices worldwide to give us diversity across the globe and extra security as far as market penetration. Global market share, Qcells is the clear leader internationally in key markets. So from the US, where Qcells have got 25.2% market share in the US, through the UK, Germany, Italy and Japan, Qcells is the number 1 for market share in those key markets. In South Korea, which is our head office country, Qcells has actually got over 60% market share. Chinese manufacturers hold another 21%, and then the other Korean manufacturers hold the remaining 20% market share.
1 minute.
Okay. Looking at our panels, we've got a full range of panels from Korean, Malaysian, Chinese manufactured panels worldwide, to, manufactured across the globe, to offer you full product solutions from that. As I said, we'll have our Qtron N-type series panel, 430 watts, 108 half cell format, at over 22% module efficiency, available Q4 this year. We've got our industry-leading quality control and testing, including QCPV certification, for our panels across the globe, which is the harshest testing facilities or testing program worldwide, and gives us the enhanced listing for that. All our manufacturing facilities worldwide are fully automated, fully interconnected through our artificial neural network, which sends live data to the cloud, so we can have machine learning optimization of our production facilities to maximise and ensure that the product that we manufacture worldwide is equivalent.
Thank you so much, Grant. I'm sure you could talk some more about that, and there's some questions there for you in the chat as well.
Yep, no worries.
I'm certainly curious to know if there's two levels of quality, top quality and even better quality that runs and changes on price.
Sure.
But we'll come back to that questions like that in a moment. We're going to hear next from Paul from REC. Paul, if you want to cue things up, unmute yourself and off you go.
Certainly. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
And you can hear me? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you, Warwick, and welcome everybody to this session here today. My name is Paul Scerri. I'm the Sales Director for REC ANZ, here to present the REC story. Let me just go through this. Click. It's going to be a bit of a speed dating. I've got quite a few slides here. Just a little bit about REC at a glance. We supply into residential, commercial, and utility and floating solar. We were one of the first into floating solar as we saw the opportunities as well as identified the risks associated with it. Last December, we celebrated our 25 years in operation. In those 25 years, we produced 40 megawatts of panels, providing solar to 17 million people. We are operating in Norway and Singapore, and we have our plant in Singapore making 1.5 gigawatts per year. We own the full value chain, producing the silicon blocks and ingots in Norway, one of the country that has the highest green energy for the nation. And then we produce the wafers, cells, and panels in Singapore. We have that's Scandinavian heritage from that history. A little bit of history. REC were one of the first to create 3 bus bars on the peak energy, introduced the 4 bus bars in 2012. We split the cells, first to mass manufacture split cell technology in 15. Introduced the 5 bus bar on the half cut cell, got the award for that. 2018 applied that technology to N-type. And 2019 went for the new smart wire and on the hot cuff cell for heterojunction. Here about our carbon. Our carbon is for our silicon. Sorry, our silicon is got the lowest carbon footprint. It has enabled us to receive awards and entry into the French market. Here's our footprint. We have manufacturing, as you see there, in Norway and in Singapore only. I'll talk about in a minute. We've got India, US, and France coming up next. Our office in Melbourne, where myself, colleagues are based. You heard the news about the acquisition of REC Solar by Reliance. Reliance Industries is APAC's largest corporation, totaling $74 billion per year. They didn't purchase us for a hobby. They didn't purchase us for social responsibility or corporate responsibility. They set themselves an aggressive target of achieving net zero carbon by year 2035. So REC has a major part to do there, and we have that very busy 13 years ahead of us. They've not only invested in PV solar, they're invested in storage and green hydrogen. And sorry, but just going back to that, and that's part of the emotional story that Dean talked about. Reliance is obviously Indian-based, a Commonwealth country. Singapore, where we manufacture, is a Commonwealth country. So we are exclusively a Commonwealth organisation, one of the only in the solar industry. Here's our plant in Singapore, currently producing 1.5 gigawatts. We're currently upgrading our alpha heterojunction production line to add another 0.6 gigawatts in that site there. That's a Singapore plant on the peninsula that was man-made some 10 years ago. What we can do for dealers, we have a partner program where we have 4 distribution partners here in Australia. They are, thank you. We have our Solar Professional program where we provide a lot of services to our installers as they get accredited and able to provide a 25-year product warranty and receive a 25-year labour guarantee. Here are some of the sales tools that we provide them. When registering, they get the extra 5 years and the full 25-year labour guarantee. We have a mobile phones app to register. We have a portal where they can go in and download a lot of tools and watch seminars and receive updates on our product portfolio. Products, we have a wide range in Australia, a wide range globally, heterojunction, N-type and P-type. In Australia, we're specialised in the lead-free Alpha Pure, going up to 405 watts, and the Twin Peak 4, where we're bringing in all the 370s to get our 6.66 kilowatt array. We've been receiving awards. This is for the Alpha series that we've got in production now. And you see there, we received multiple awards throughout the years for our Twin Peak production. I've run out of time, have I?
You have, Paul, but thank you so much. Again, there's some questions there for you, and we'll have more chance to hear from each of you later on in the presentation when we've got some Q&A time. Worth noting that due to time constraints, we couldn't have every quality panel manufacturer represented here, but I do have on screen here a message from Winaico. Certainly from my perspective, I've been impressed with the level of installer adoption of this panel, and they're fiercely supportive of it. There's a whole range of different benefits there for you, some of which are similar to what you all have heard from other companies, and other which are different. Some key points there that Blair's pointed out there, that you can get a 25-year product warranty. There is some great test performance data there on Desert Knowledge, which is now a decade old, and they have to replace the inverter before they're replacing the product as well. You'll note there some of the wattages on the panels there, and Tony from Synergy was also wondering, hey, when can you stop sending, that's not Winaico, but when can the solar industry stop sending us panels that are 35 kilograms and require a truck or a crane to get them on the roof? And I note there that your panels look like they're 330 to 410. We are going to move on, but have your Q&A questions in there. Here's one person that I really wanted to hear from, because, hey, no, one person who's seen it all from every angle, and particularly, knowing he's chosen panels for his own retail business. Lots of people will be reflecting on both the changing in the competitive landscape, as well as wondering what to do. And also then from another vantage point, Solar Analytics sees a lot of data from lots of different panels and receives a lot of different feedback from retailers, etc. Nigel, tell us, how would you approach this, and what are your observations on the sector? Let's unmute yourself.
Thanks, Woz. Thanks for the nice intro. Good day, everyone. It's a really interesting question, and I was thinking about it, listening to the stories. 30 years in the industry for me now, and 25 years ago I joined BP, and that was when I started my journey on learning the lesson that we're talking about here, which is how do you sell value and quality. We had a little bit easier back then because there weren't so many brands in the market, and today you all know that you're flooded with brands, and so it's a really, really big challenge. But it is certainly possible, and I think that the data that Warwick showed highlighted that really well. Dean touched on it as well, and I think what I have witnessed over 30 years is that come hell or high water, there is a way to sell premium quality. There is a way. Businesses do it every single day, and some businesses are extraordinarily good at it. So the key, of course, is finding the formula. One of the things that I've also witnessed over these 3 decades is that if you can sell a system worth more, you can generate more margin for your business. And it's real easy to generate revenue. It's a lot harder to generate margin and to do it well. I also really liked, and I'm just going to reflect a lot on what I heard today, because I think it tells the story really, really well. The story that Dean told about the emotional story, and anyone who listens to the podcast would know I love a good story, love to tell a good story, love to hear good stories, and the emotional story is so important. And to me, it's really sad to see the story that we all had with LG go out of the market, but it's not the first time that's happened. We can find new ways to tell that story. We can find new brands, and as Dean said, it won't necessarily be the same. You don't have the same pull if you don't have a brand that's instantly recognizable. When it comes to what we have learnt, what I've seen at Solar Analytics, one of the cool things is, with more than 30,000 sites and our patented true performance management software, we get insight into not just what systems produce, but what they should have produced. So that gives us the ability to really, look in great detail across an immense variety of combinations and permutations of systems, what's working and what's not. I checked the stats today, and the overall takeaway for me is this, and it's fairly typical of what you would see when you would look on our dashboard of our entire fleet on any day. So as of today, 18% of the sites that we're looking at had a problem. Now, this could be for a wide variety of reasons, of course, a huge variety of reasons, but it actually backs up a statement that I heard on a really interesting podcast by a very large retailer the other day, who said, try as he may, 10 to 15% of their sites, unfortunately, are going to have some kind of problem over their lifetime. And that's in fact exactly what our mission is at Solar Analytics, is to help identify those problems. So, no matter how hard you try over the lifetime of that system, unfortunately, shit goes wrong. Now, you can minimize it by choosing great gear, installing in the right way, lifting your game in every possible way, rather than simply driving down the cost. It's about, I don't need to tell you guys that, you guys and girls know how to do that. And of course, what we do know is product quality, warranty, and support are what make all the difference. And that 15 to 18% of systems that we can see that do have problems highlights that. So, to me, when I listen to the pitch from all the manufacturers, I heard about bankability, I heard about quality, I heard about size, I heard about strength, experience, trustworthiness, cleverness, vertical integration. All those things matter. They all make a difference, and they all give you part of the story about why you should deal with a certain brand or a certain manufacturer. But of course, promises are easy to make.
1 minute.
No offense to anyone out there who has made any of those promises, but promises are easy to make. And what we can see is that try as you may, and what retailers will tell you is try as you may, unfortunately, stuff goes wrong sometimes. So the key that I'm going to encourage all of you to think really, really hard about is not only the promises that you're hearing, but look for companies, look for evidence of how those companies are going to back those promises up and support you when things go wrong. Thanks for the opportunity to join.
Thanks, Nigel. And I'd have to say, let me just take the spotlight off you, but I'd have to say, if you're going to promise extraordinary performance from an extraordinary panel, then you want to be able to demonstrate that it actually does it, and be able to show that you're demonstrating it actually does it. It's kind of like demonstrating your commitment to quality and an outcome on every job. And the only way you can really do that is with monitoring. The other aspect, and Solar Analytics does this and nobody else really, and that is, if you're having to sell a higher price product, then if you can be offering extra benefits of hundreds of dollars of bill savings each year that nobody else can, or very few others can, then that bill saver product is a smart one. So thanks, Nigel. Thanks for talking general terms. But hey, if you're going to demonstrate things, then I suspect that you probably want to demonstrate it through monitoring as well. Now let's move forward. Worth noting, of course, that each of the presenters on today's call has their brand associated with Open Solar, and so a lot of LG dealers were early adopters of Open Solar software. If you're switching panels to any of those that are on the screen right now, then you'll automatically have exhibitor content preloaded, and then there are others that are working through to present proposals that really deliver and the sales message that you really would like to know from that panel's perspective. SunWiz can also help you go that next level and have your proposal look different to everyone's and really present it well. Again, drawing upon Dean Mannix's talents there in sales too. All right, so to Q&A, we now have time for about 10 minutes worth of questions and answers. I note that there's been some through in the chat, and there's some that have been answered there on the Q&A. So one of the questions there was from Tony and Smith, who was actually asking, well, you can see it in there in the answered. One of 9 solar professionals in Bendigo. What's the benefit to us? We generate leads via digital marketing with 11 competitors. I see REC distribution strategy as being an awesome way to give 10 other companies, solar companies, free leads. To me, this goes to the point of the tension between anyone can have my panel and only a few people can have my panel. And now we've got one less manufacturer in the market. Where do I fit in, and who am I displacing? Chris, do you want to talk about? I believe you've got one of the more exclusive, deal and distribution geographies.
Yeah.
What's the deal with Sunpower?
Yeah. So our philosophy is to have a certain number of dealers in a territory, but not to oversaturate it. But really, what it comes down to is how deep we can go into a particular geography. So we have some geographies where we have one partner, but we're also pretty close to 100% of their business. So they're showing loyalty to us. We're showing loyalty to them by ensuring that we are preferencing them in that location by not setting other people up around them. So that's pretty, loyalty to us and cultural alignment is the key attribute that we're looking for from a partner, and we'll provide that in the other direction as well.
And thanks, Blair. Come off mute. I showed some data showing that people were, very much adopting you from almost all their installations. Do you also have some kind of exclusivity arrangement, geographical, or how do you handle those situations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the my story is that I started Winaico near on 10 years ago. I came from another brand where we had multiple distributors, and distributors could sell over everyone else. And so one of the key messages that I wanted to carry across when I started the brand was that I wanted direct relationships, and I wanted my installers to be able to sell and promote a product without being undersold by everyone else. So yeah, our direct model enables us to do that, and I like to try and support our customers where I can.
Great. Any of the other manufacturers, if you'd like to answer how you support your dealers, please, now's a good time.
Yes,
Cool.
Thanks, Warwick. At REC, being a global corporation, we appreciate that we don't understand how to run each individual installer's business. Small business is a unique business model that has all different types of approaches. So we provide as many options as possible to display our product in the portfolio. We're not silly. We know that we have to share their business with other panel manufacturers. So we accept and appreciate that, and provide the installers as much help as they can with all the sales tools that we offer through Open Solar and our Pro Portal.
Great. And Paul, you've got a question there from Andrew Pearce. You can answer about the ABN status of REC Australia in the chat. Grant, was there something that you wanted to talk to?
Yeah, look, I'd like to strengthen that as far as Qcel's go-to-market strategy. We're evolving our position at the moment, so we're reducing our exposure through the wholesale and distribution channels, and strengthening our direct partner network, particularly around the fact that we've got a full range of panels from our G10 Plus out of Korea to the Q Max out of China, adding into that our new Q Home Core hybrid storage with 15-year product warranty, and we've just launched our own energy retail offer as well with VPP access in Victoria and New South Wales. So that expanded range gives us the ability to actually provide more support to our direct partner network, which we will manage the exposure and availability across the country.
Thanks, Grant. And Lliam, did you have? You're in the situation of being a distributor. Is it, and I think the exclusive representative of at least one of those products, is it anyone can come and buy from you guys?
Look, with Sumac Photo Solar, as I mentioned in my presentation, we manage an exclusive with them, and we do ensure that they are people that align with the values of Phono and will sell values. We're definitely not aligning ourselves to discount retail companies like that. And then with Hyundai, the other brand I said that kind of fits the criteria, as Dean said, it's probably the brand that's the easiest to fall to from LG, being a recognised consumer brand. So you go out to the homeowner, they already know who Hyundai is from their motor division or from some of their heavy industries products. So they're the two products we have as options. And as I said, I invite people to reach out to one of our grade 11 BDMs across the country, and we'll have an extended chat about it.
Thanks, Lliam. And worth noting, Bobby McKinnon's asked for some comments on modern slavery. Again, and I see that's been answered by, I think QCells. Please post your comments and responses in the chat there, especially the technical assistance. Nigel, what are your observations, or have you got any curly questions for these panelists?
No, look, I mean, I think the real challenge for all manufacturers is, there's a lot of there's an eternal challenge for every solar retailer out there to make this decision. Why should I choose this brand? If price is critical, of course, you've got to have a product that's competitive. But I really look forward to hearing from manufacturers who can bundle their story up into a really simple pitch that is backed up by proof, that is backed up by evidence, that backs up the promises that they make. And of course, the LG lesson for all of us is that having a large corporate entity behind your manufacturer gives you strength. But what's the lesson that I think we've learned is it also means that at some point they can decide, well, I need to carve off that part of the business because it's not working so well for me anymore. So, how do you build confidence for retailers around that question is the one that's burning for me at the moment.
Right, thank you. I'm not sure if there's a particular question for anyone particular. It's a really good observation, very astute there, Nigel. I've also got a poll up there. Which brand are you leaning towards at the moment? 45 votes there, and very interesting to see. Everyone who's on the call is still vested in selling quality solar. No one's leaving there. I'm going to end that poll there and show that Hanwha QCells has garnered 41% of votes as ones that people are leaning towards, followed by Sunpower and REC on an even amount of votes. Sorry, we didn't have space for everyone on there, but you can see how it's distributed. The next one, I'd just like to ask, well, particularly I heard Grant, but I believe many people are manufacturing in different places. Is quality, is good quality available at a low price within your range, and then top quality available at a much higher price? Does that apply to QCells? Can I get quality for less, or is it all the same?
Look, yeah, I think you can definitely get good quality product out of China and Malaysia. The unique thing about our facilities is that they are fully 100% QCells owned, QCells operated, from wafers going in one end to completed panels out the other, all operated with very similar bill of materials and the same quality control process and optimization, machine learning optimization technology. So you should see very little difference from our Chinese, Malaysian and Korean manufactured panels. You're paying for the country of origin and the warranty period.
Okay.
For the most part.
Thanks for that, Grant.
Yep.
Chris, would you like to care to comment on the similar topic, noting that if people like to be contacted by any of these manufacturers for further discussion, there's a poll there, and if you care to answer, then we'll connect you with the right people. Chris.
Yeah, can you summarise the question again, please, Warwick?
Yeah, hey, is good quality available from country A within your product range at a cheaper price than top quality from country B, or it doesn't work that way?
No, it doesn't work that way. Our cell architecture really determines the price. So the P series is one pricing category, and the IBC is another pricing category. And I would argue that they're both top quality. They're just different features and benefits.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. And Paul, for yourselves. Sorry to catch you eating there.
That's okay. Just what I meant. Yeah, we just have the one production plant. I didn't get to show the slide where we consistently have had a ppm rating between 50 and 100 parts per million. So being on the one site, one production team, one quality team, we're able to manage all the different technologies and ensure that we have the highest quality for every product.
Right, thank you, Paul. And look, I note that we have had excellent panels all represented here, each with strong things for their favour, whether they be the Net Promoter Score, their time in business, a whole range of different stories that's also important to sell. And thank you, everybody, for sharing with us your thoughts on this. We are about to go out with something else, but I noticed that a lot of people wanted to be contacted by Hanwha as the leaders amongst those things. Now, just as we wrap up for the day, as you are considering overhauling your business and changing your vendor, and with it all of your panel literature, etc., and your sales message, and as I think Dean pointed out, you've got to stop relying on that well-recognized brand to do the heavy lifting for you and start lifting yourself. It's now a good time to be thinking about, well, what do I have to do to overhaul my business? It's worth noting that SunWiz does have a service that can do it all for you. Essentially, it's called SunWiz Accelerate, and that gives you an effortless business elevation. You can see on this pyramid that there's 3 cornerstones there: differentiation, automation, and guidance. The Dean Mannix offer there of Sales Guru and teaching you how to sell these brands, each of these brands in particular, that's available through that holistic service, or available individually. If you'd like some more information there, then click on that link /scan it, or fill out the poll that is on your screen. The other thing is to say thank you, and for anybody who is a subscriber to Luminate or any of SunWiz's market intelligence services at the large scale, we will both be teaching you and leading you through our new intelligence platform, which presents you a lot more information. But we're also going to go and dive deep into LG's market share and its trends, and how that compares with each of the manufacturers that are represented today. So you can see not only market share, but things like product churn, and brand churn, and customer loyalty, share of wallet, and a whole thing that we've talked through. So with that, I will say thank you, everybody, both panelists and attendees, for your excellent questions and your engagement. And please feel free to reach out with any other questions that you would like us to channel that through. And I do see that there's quite a few people interested in that Sales Guru. Hey, thanks. Short notice. Everyone give us a wave, and thoughts out there to people in flood zones, war zones, and the solar coaster zone. Excellent. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Warwick. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Warwick. Thanks, everybody, for attending.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for having us.